Hi, John Zombro here with the Lifetime Athlete, and this is a backcountry performance video. I'm going to do a quick review of an amazing product which I highly recommend for backcountry travelers, through hikers, backcountry hunters, people who are out in the mountains and certainly in wintry terrain. And what we're going to be talking about today is the Kahtoola Microspikes, and this is a product that fits a very specific niche. It comes in, let's say, more useful and more aggressive than like a simple product that you might put on a shoe to walk around your neighborhood if the streets are icy. Nothing wrong with that, but that's really where that application is served best. Then we go to something like a snowshoe, which really only has value when the snow depth is probably in excess of 10 inches and the snow is packed and settled and firm. Also, if a person is out on rock and ice, they're probably going to be utilizing mountaineering boots and also heavy-duty crampons, which none of these things really are. What this product is a slip-on microspike, thus the name, which is a traction enhancer, bar none, essentially. And this is recommended for snow and ice, but it also has some other uses. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Kahtoola Microspikes. First of all, they come in three colors. There is a red, like I have, a green, and a black model that they offer. And I just chose the red because a lot of times in the field, if I sit something down, it has a way of disappearing, especially if it's of a neutral color. So I like the red for my uses. 4 sizes are available. There is a small, medium, large, and extra large. This one is the large. One of the things I would say right away is they're very easy on and off. So it's easy to put these on a boot and to remove them as well, which is a really strong selling point. There are 12 spikes, and all of this hardware is stainless steel, so it's very moisture resistant as well as durable and of high quality. These are relatively light and compact. The large that I have is 13.1 ounces, and they also, each pair comes with its own stuff sack. I would tell you this, that the thermoplastic elastomer harness has some stretch capacity, and it's rated to be flexible and easy enough to put on and off down to 22 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit, or that's minus 30 Celsius. And these are retailing at about $74.95. So that's a few things about the Kahtoola Microspike. And then if I tell you this, I tested these over 70 miles over the course of slightly more than a year, and through 4 seasons, and certainly through a lot of different conditions. So I'm going to just talk briefly about what I experienced. First of all, in snow from, let's just say, 1 to 10 inches. So any amount of snow, a dusting of snow in various terrain can be slippery, particularly if it is steep or if you're in the forest and it covers up all the forest debris and sticks and such. And these are really good. Once the snow gets above about 10 inches, the snow itself provides kind of a brace for the leg or some traction, so these may not be quite as necessary. Then when I looked at ice, icy conditions are where these microspikes really shine. They really do a good job of providing traction. I also tested them on dry, frozen ground, which I found them to be useful and effective. I didn't necessarily think I needed them on unfrozen ground unless the terrain was extremely steep, and here's where oftentimes in the spring, summer, or fall, if you happen to be on a very steep mountainside that's grassy, and that grass is wet with dew or wet with rain, it can be very slippery. These are quite useful for that. One other application that I tried a few times is simply crossing streams, oftentimes in the springtime with high runoff, on logs, and these do give you a bit of traction, although I didn't do too much of that, try to play it safe. So those are some of the things that I did with my testing. Again, got over 70 miles in them. And what I would say is that on the uphills, these are great. They really give you quite a bit of purchase, and a lot of that's happening through the forefoot spike area. On the downhills, same thing. A lot of times that's going to be using the rear crampon or spike area a bit more, but again, super useful. Now on side heeling, these aren't really designed to contribute too much to side heeling, but what they do is they don't allow, or let's say they don't intrude you accessing the lateral edge of your boot when you are side heeling, so they don't get in your way. One of the nice things also is, let's say if you're on a steep side hill and you're negotiating it, but you need to rest, you can simply orient one or both of your feet downhill or uphill, and that can, in effect, allow you to rest instead of having to put so much pressure into holding your position. One thing to keep in mind, and this is really a factor of nature, is if you're walking on snow and the temperature is near the freezing point, near 32 degrees Fahrenheit, what I experienced was a buildup of a very large snowball, 3 to 4 inches thick here. And you generally just have to kick that off. Now this is no fault of the manufacturer, it's just something that happens at those temperatures in snow, and it occurs with snowshoes or with cross-country skis as well. But it's just something to be aware of, that at that very subtle temperature range, snowballing is certainly something to be aware of. There's all sorts of conventions that people use, such as using a spray glide wax or WD-40, or even like a cooking oil spray on these. I'm reluctant to try something like that because I'm not sure if any of those products would degrade the thermoplastic here or even have a negative impact on the boot sole or rand in this case. So just something to mention there. Now, as a physical therapist, as a performance coach who really works with a lot of backcountry athletes, I'm always thinking about these concepts of ergonomics and of biomechanics. And this is where the Kahtoola Microspikes really shine, because what they do is they allow you to relax your leg and place your foot with a great degree of confidence. And one of the things that can happen when the conditions are very slippery is we tend to build up a co-contraction where we will stiffen all the muscles in the limb to create more stability and rigidity when we place foot. Now that can be exhausting, and it's not actually very efficient. The other thing we'll do is put a lot of effort, a lot of force into maintaining contact pressure and finding that point on the shoe, usually in the forefoot, where we can really bite in. Now that can be exhausting and can even lead to muscle cramping and other problems. So what the Microspikes do is they allow you to relax and not have that. So you're able to utilize much less energy negotiating challenging terrain. And for the simplicity that these offer, that's really a useful point, making you safer and more effective, and also helping you to conserve energy, which is oh so important when you're covering miles in the backcountry. So in rating products, a lot of times what I like to do is be fairly simple, and I'll just use an excellent, good, fair, poor rating, and that also correlates with letters or grades A, B, C, and D. And so if I talk about these Kahtoola Microspikes, I'd say this. First of all, from a simplicity of design, it's excellent. I'm giving them an A rating there because it's very intuitive when you look at this. What's the front, what's the back, how do you put it on, and how quickly that can be done. Then I look at ease of use, and again, simply taking these out of my pack and popping them on my shoes or off when the time comes. It's very easy. There are no clip straps or buckles to require more intricate effort or time. Give them an A rating. Now, as far as effectiveness goes, they are very effective for their intended purpose and a few other things, as I found. A rating. When I look at weight and I say 13.1 ounces, I'm thinking most of the time, if I'm going out into any steep terrain or any terrain that's going to have ice and snow, I'm going to throw these in my pack because 13.1 ounces versus the amount of service that these provide is quite good. I can lose 13.1 ounces off my gut just as easy, so I'm happy to do that. A rating there on the weight. And then with the cost, I think this is a quality product. You definitely get what you pay for. A rating. And then finally, durability. Now, there are some reviews out there that suggest that the thermoplastic elastomer harness tends to fail at about 1 to 2 years of use. I haven't experienced that. These again have over 70 miles on them, and they look, again, almost new. And there is a 2-year warranty. So, based on my experience, I'm going to say the durability is excellent. And I've been very confident in knowing that they're in my pack, taking them out, and using them. So that's my review of the Kahtoola Microspikes. I think if you're a backcountry traveler, this is an excellent investment. And thank you for joining me today.